I'm going to show you the best way to make more of your umbrella tree. Let's see what works the best, soil or water. Hey, Lee here, and this is my umbrella plant. This is actually the dwarf version of the plant, and I do have the variegated and non-variegated version of this plant, but the propagation methods are the same for all the Schefflera arboricola plants. This is a fairly common house plant, and I picked this up for a few dollars at my local nursery. It's really easy to grow, it does well in any kind of soil, and it's a great beginner plant. For this propagation experiment, we'll need a sharp, clean knife or clippers, a jar for water propagation, rooting hormone, about a 3-inch pot, and it will go with a soil mix of potting soil and perlite. I'm pulling off a few of these bottom leaves so they don't rot while I'm rooting the plant. After using some rooting hormone, I'm placing these 2 cuttings in water. We'll change the water about once a week, and I'll keep it in a bright spot with indirect sunlight and additional humidity from a nearby humidifier. For the soil propagation, I'll use this 3-inch terracotta pot and my mix of potting soil and perlite. I'm going a bit heavy on the perlite, almost 50-50, because I really don't want this cutting to rot. After using some rooting hormone and planting it, I'll spray the topsoil with water and check on it every few days to make sure that the topsoil stays moist and does not get too wet. I'll keep it in the same place as my cuttings that are in water. If this video was already helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing. Stick around because I'll check on it in a few weeks to see how our cuttings are doing. This is 28 days after the start of our propagation, and as you can see, the soil propagation is not doing so well. It could be the soil medium I'm using, but I generally seem to have bad luck with soil propagation. If you have any suggestions for a different medium I could use, leave a comment down below. I'm going to pull this plant out of soil and place it with the water propagation in hopes that it can make a recovery. The water propagation continues to do well. There has actually been some new growth on the plant, but there has not been any root growth just yet. I do notice these hard crystal-like growths starting to form. They kind of look like barnacles, but from what I've seen, this is fairly typical on umbrella plants when propagating them in water. After 70 days, our plants are rooting really well. Unfortunately, our soil propagation never recovered in water, and he will not be missed. Surprisingly, our variegated cutting rooted much faster than our non-variegated cutting. I consider this propagation a success, and it's time to root these in soil. For rooting these in soil, I'm going to be using a mix of potting soil and other amendments like orchid bark, leca, horticultural charcoal, and perlite. But I do think a good mix of potting soil and perlite should help this plant thrive if you're looking for a more simple mix. And with that, in 70 days, we've successfully water propagated our umbrella tree. And please note that wherever you cut on your umbrella tree, those parts will regrow. Like this video if it was helpful, and consider subscribing. See you next time.